Personalize your wedding vows. You can personalize your wedding ceremony with your own wedding vows. The freedom of creating your own vows comes at a price. You have to work at it. Although writing your own personalized wedding vows can be a difficult and rewarding, there are many things you can do to make the process easier. First of all, you should make sure that you and your groom are in agreement on having personalized vows. Then you've to discuss it with your wedding officiant. Most officiants should have no objections to the idea. The wording should be in line with the style of the ceremony, and it's going to be different for a traditional ceremony than a modern ceremony. If you elected to have a religious ceremony, you may be required to include certain phrases. You and your groom may write the same vows or work on different vows on your own. Remember from your term paper writing days, brainstorming may be the best approach to start. Write down the words and thoughts you must have in your vows. If you encounter writer's block, you may read several traditional vows to look for ideas. You can start by swapping out some of the words with words you feel more comfortable with. Write down what kind of commitment marriage means to you. Try to put your thoughts into words. Don't worry about grammar and spelling at this point. The goal is to try to be creative. Some of the questions you could ask yourself in the process are: what are my expectations of my partner? What are the qualities that are important to me? What it means to be committed to one another? What does marriage mean to me? After you've a first draft, you should consult your wedding officiant. Your friends and your family may be able to help you fine-tune it too. Then be prepared to rewrite. Some of the best writers are famous for writing and rewriting their best work dozens of times. Rewriting is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of perfection. Remember that your wedding ceremony is also a performance, so you must practice your vows with your groom. Once you hear it, you may have a different opinion on the words you've used. Practicing provides you with an opportunity to make final adjustments. Once you've worked out a final version, practice reading it on your own and try to memorize it. Personalized candy wrappers as baptism party favors. If you are looking for an idea for baptism party favors, why not try personalized candy wrappers? Personalized candy wrappers make great baptism party favors for several reasons. They are unique and can be personalized with the child's name and date of baptism. On the back of the candy wrapper could be a thank you statement such as, "Thank you for sharing this special day with us." You could also put a popular christening poem or a cute nutritional label on the back. Personalized candy wrappers also make great baptism party favors because they're inexpensive but still very tasteful and impressive. They also make a fantastic keepsake of your special event. Also, let's face it, everyone loves chocolate and your guests will love receiving them. They can save the wrapper but eat the chocolate. Usually these baptism party favors can be purchased as fully wrapped candy bars, or you can purchase just the candy wrappers themselves, then purchase the candy bars and wrap them yourself. The best option depends on how much you want to spend and how much time You'll obviously pay more for the fully wrapped candy bars, and you'll also pay more in shipping costs as your package will weigh more. Make sure that you check the shipping policy of the company that you order from and know what your shipping charges are going to be up front. Another thing that you'll want to be sure of is that you are getting foil sheets or envelopes with your purchase. The new style packaging of most of the popular brands of candy bars don't have the foil ends anymore, therefore you've to recreate the classic look by wrapping the candy bar in foil first, then putting the personalized candy wrapper over the foil. Otherwise the plastic ends of the packaging will stick out and it will not look as nice. It's important to note that the foil is placed over top of the existing packaging, so the actual chocolate itself is not handled. Another consideration if you want to order fully wrapped candy bars is to check to make sure you are getting the brand of chocolate that you want. Make sure the company does not use an off-brand that may not taste as good. If you want to have memorable baptism party favors for this very special occasion, then personalized candy wrappers make a wonderful choice. Personalized wedding vow tips: how to make them special. During a traditional wedding ceremony, the wedding vow that you confess will be provided to you. All you need to do is repeat after the individual performing the wedding. This wedding vow is usually words taken from Holy Scriptures from a particular Bible. If you want a totally traditional wedding, this is the way you want to go with your wedding vow. However, it's becoming more and more acceptable for people to either make changes to the traditional wedding vow or to come up with something completely original. If you choose to create your own wedding vow, there are a few things you want to keep in mind. Although your wedding vow will be special to you, it's a good idea that you and your mate follow the same theme. While a wedding vow can include whatever words you want, it is a good idea to exercise good judgment. If you are planning a church wedding, talk to the individual performing the wedding to discover what is and what isn't appropriate for your wedding vow. They may be able to point out some unique scriptures that you can quote from the Bible. If the passage is long, it's quite customary to read from it, although you would impress your guests if you were to recite the wedding vow from memory. So where can you get ideas for writing your own wedding vow? Just about anywhere you can find sentiments that echo your commitment to your mate. If you search the internet, you'll come across websites that feature wedding vow assistance. Obtaining a wedding vow using this method is very simple. All you've to do is answer a few questions and provide a method of contact. The company will then take the information you provide and send you a personalized wedding vow. This may seem somewhat impersonal, but since you provide input, the wedding vow is partly your creation. Do you enjoy poetry? A book of poems is an excellent resource for your wedding vow. You can visit your local library and get ideas for what to say for your wedding vow. There are also plenty of books written on the subject. A discount bookstore should offer such a book at a reasonable cost. A unique solution to writing your wedding vow is to solicit the assistance of someone who writes music. An individual with this background can provide creativity in addition to romantic wording. Personalized wedding favor. Wedding favors are as ancient a tradition as weddings themselves. As simple as candies or as elaborate as miniature golden carriages filled with rose petals, these token gifts for those who attend a wedding have become a big industry. These gifts, gestures, really of appreciation to the guests from the marrying couple, are such a small detail, but can make such a large impact on those who receive them. In the past, wedding favors were on the whole simpler objects, but as our cultures changed, so did all the things that comprise our culture down to the details of wedding favors. Nowadays there is an ever-growing range of wedding favors available for couples to give their guests, and it's not just an American phenomenon. From country to country, wedding favors have become big business. The concept of wedding favors has long been there in the human civilization, and changes have occurred as times changed. The wedding favors in the older times were far simpler, but they did have that unique touch to them which made the favor a special thing for the guests who attended the weddings. The wedding favors are a gesture of gratitude towards the guests, friends and relatives who attend the wedding ceremonies and grace the occasion. Today there is a wide range of wedding favors available for couples to give to their guests, and the sheer demand for them has given birth to the wedding favor industry in the world. Although the wedding favors vary from culture to culture, the idea behind it is common across all cultures. The tradition of wedding favors dates at least as far back as the aristocracy of the Europeans in medieval times. These rich Europeans aristocrats lavished their guests with fancy wedding favors called bonbonnieres. Bonbonniere is a French word that means a bauble or a small box with attractive ornamentations on it, and this little box was generally made of porcelain, crystal or even precious stones. The aristocracy would then place little gifts within these ornate boxes, often sugar cubes or other such confections. Since sugar was a rare and expensive item in those times, it symbolized the status of aristocracy. By giving a gift of sugar to their guests, the message was clear: we're well off, look at what we can give away. Of course, as sugar became a common household commodity, it lost favor amongst the aristocrats, who then began favoring almonds and other expensive nuts. Later, confetti became popular. It's interesting to note that modern weddings often make a nod to their aristocratic past by giving sugared almonds as a wedding favor. If there's one key difference between past and present wedding favors, it's one of personalization. The aristocrats' goal was to impress people with their wealth. The trend among modern couples, however, is the custom creation of gifts that bear the personal touch of the families and the couples. What better way to truly say thank you for thinking of us than to give out thoughtful, meaningful gifts? It makes all the difference. Personalized wedding favors. The centuries-old tradition of the wedding favor has now been transformed into personalized custom-made wedding favors. Although these personalized favors can be expensive, it's not done to impress, but simply to show gratitude through personalization. First and foremost, these personalized wedding favors come with the name of the happy couple often engraved somewhere. The date is also included, along with a short phrase summarizing the love of the couple and their feelings for the guests. Inevitably, the gifts themselves are structured around a photo of themselves. Interesting to note too how many couples include their pets in the photo. A personal touch indeed. These personalized wedding favors can reflect the wedding themes, for example the beach, or spring, as well as reflect the colors of the wedding itself. Couples can have wedding favors personalized for their beach wedding with products called Adirondack chairs, which feature tea light candles, or a personalized heart-shaped bottles decorated with sand and seashells. Couples can also personalize their summer or spring wedding with favors that feature wild daisy flowers or cute flower hearts. Couples can also give edible wedding favors. Tiny bags of coffee or even chocolate bars can be personalized now as wedding favors. How about a wine bottle with personalized label? In that vein, glass wedding favors or customized champagne shoots have also become a mainstay in personalized wedding favors. Yes, personalizing one's wedding favors can become an expensive ordeal, but when done right, the gifts can be a treasured memento. Why give wedding favors to guests? Although the aristocrats gave wedding favors merely as symbols of their wealth and power, that isn't to say that wedding favors today still can't carry with them some symbolism. They do. There's of course the inherent symbol of gratitude that all gifts carry. But beyond that, wedding favors such as the giving of 5 Jordan almonds are symbolic of things like health, wealth, long life, fertility and happiness, which are the most importantly copy of things in a happy marriage. Giving sugared almonds can be construed as recognizing that in marriage there can be bitterness and sweetness. Beyond the purely symbolic level, wedding favors often have practicality to them. Whether it's a bottle of wine or a box of candles, these gifts are to be used, not just admired. Though there certainly are wedding favors which are purely decorational. Still, that's a function, isn't it? Couples have given beautiful framed pictures of the beach where they had their first date, or a vase from the glass blower at the county fair where they first met. Wedding favors are ultimately about the memories. Wedding favors are also a great icebreaker. Often there are guests at a wedding who know only a few or even just one of the other guests. But a creative wedding favor can open people up and have guests mingling. Imagine giving, say, 5 different photos to each person at the wedding. People would then approach one another excitedly, "Let me see the ones you got." Or how about giving different candied nuts to the guests? People will mingle and share. Truly, the bottom line in wedding favors is to give a thoughtful thank you to all the guests who took the trouble to attend your wedding. Give a touch of symbolism, a dash of practicality, a touch of personality and love, and your guests will remember your wedding for a lifetime. Personalized unity candles, when two become one. Many different wedding traditions have developed over the years in the Christian church. There's the tossing of the bride's bouquet and the removal of the bridal garter. There's also the tradition of the wedding cake and of course the tradition of the wedding ceremony itself. Most of these traditions have been around in some form for many centuries. However, few traditions that are held during Christian weddings today have developed in popularity as quickly as the lighting of personalized unity candles. What are personalized unity candles? Personalized unity candles are the candles used during the unity portion of the wedding ceremony. At that point in the ceremony, the bride and groom light a unity candle together to signify the melting of their lives into one being. The unity candle ceremony itself is comprised of 2 long taper candles and the bigger unity candle. The mothers of the bride and groom will both light one of the taper candles before the ceremony begins. Then the bride and groom will each take the taper candle that their own mother lit and light the middle unity candle. After the unity candle is lit, the bride and groom either blow out their candles to signify that they're completely one now, or they can place them side by side with the unity candle to show that they're one but still retain their individuality. Personalized unity candles have increased in popularity as the wedding industry continues to boom. Personalized unity candles are unity candles that have some sort of personalization added to them by the marrying couple. Personalized unity candles can have anything from their names to a favorite quote inscribed into the candle. The couple can then save this as a reminder of the most important day of their lives. What's the history behind personalized unity candles? The personalized unity candles have really come into popularity within the past 30 years, unlike other wedding traditions that have been passed down from generation to generation. It's not known if unity candle ceremonies were originally created by Christians. However, Christians are the religion now known for this ceremony. Unity candle ceremonies were further popularized by a popular daytime soap opera in the early 1980s. After the Unity candle ceremony was performed on the show, many newlyweds to be expressed an interest in this ceremony, and its popularity continues to grow to this day. Make your wedding about you. Ask any wedding planner and she will tell you to make your wedding about you and your future spouse, not anyone else. You can partake in tradition or you can create your own. What is most important is that you let your wedding day go down in memory as the best day of your life. Don't let someone else like popular culture or your family dictate what your wedding will be like. Personalized wedding gifts for the newlywed couple. Nothing helps a couple remember their special day like a personalized wedding gift. Such a gift can bring back all the sentiment of their ceremony and celebration by displaying their names, initials, or wedding date on a precious item. Personalized gifts are widely available, though most stores will add a small charge for this service. It's important to note that a personalized gift will usually require additional processing time, which may delay delivery. Therefore, when ordering a personalized item, it is important to purchase the gift well in advance of the wedding date. Monogrammed gifts. Monogrammed gifts are both practical and romantic. From towels and glassware to stationery, monogrammed wedding gifts are a personal treasure. Personalized photo options. Newlyweds are left with literally hundreds of photos documenting their wedding day and honeymoon. Engraved frames and photo albums give the couple beautiful storage and display options. These wedding gifts are usually personalized with the couple's wedding date. Autographed gifts. Document the well wishes of family and friends with an autographed gift. Wedding guests can sign a large mat of a photo frame, a specially made platter, or a fabric wall hanging. Home decor items. Many home items can be personalized with beautiful results. Engraved photo coasters can display wedding memories while protecting new furniture. Embroidered throws accent the married couple's home with color and warmth. Seasonal gifts such as personalized ornaments and tree skirts can add to the new couple's holiday decorations. Embroidered table linens allow the newly married couple to entertain with pride. Spiritual items. For the devout couple, a personalized Bible would hold special significance if given in advance of the wedding. It could even be used as part of the ceremony. An engraved wall cross for display in the home is another option for the spiritual pair. A personalized future toast. Wedding guests can order bottles of wine or champagne with personalized labels for the happy couple. Engraved wine glasses or bottle stoppers would nicely complement the wedding gift. The married couple can open the bottles to toast on their honeymoon or save them for a milestone anniversary. 10 tips to survive an unexpected holiday hurricane. As you pack the last items of your luggage ready for your tropical vacation, nobody likes to think about the event of a natural disaster. The thought that a hurricane could ruin your perfect relaxing break in the sun should rightly be the last thing from your mind, but if you are heading to a region where such natural disasters are known to occur, it can never hurt to be prepared. Of course, worldwide travel insurance can provide some peace of mind that you'll be reimbursed for your medical fees or lost valuables, but in terms of survival, some hurricane advice is absolutely essential. For that reason, we've compiled a list of 10 things you can do to ensure your safe return to the UK. So if you hear of a warning, follow these 10 pieces of hurricane advice to ensure you stay safe in the event of disaster. 1. Listen to local media sources to stay informed. Keep an eye on local news and an ear on local radio. Latest developments will be shared this way, and they will offer insights into when any hurricane is due to strike. If the local hurricane advice is to evacuate, you'll hear it here first. 2. Talk to your tour or travel operator. Stay in touch with your travel or tour operator. They may be able to offer additional hurricane advice, and combined with local radio reports will let you know if you need to leave the area immediately. 3. Make alternate return travel arrangements home. If a hurricane does hit the resort and/or country you are staying in, you can anticipate widespread damage. Airports are not above these hits, and it may take some time for them to reopen if they take some serious damage. It may be wise to make alternative travel arrangements to get back home after the incident and rearrange home-based commitments if you have any. You could be here a while. 4. Stay inside, away from doors and windows. If a hurricane is due to hit and you don't have time to evacuate the area as advised, then ensure you are indoors when it's due to strike. It's absolutely essential that you ensure you are far away from all doors and windows when it strikes. 5. Make a hurricane supply kit. If you are going to be confined to your hotel or apartment for the duration of the hurricane, make sure you are prepared. Think enough food and water to last 24 to 48 hours, batteries, flashlights, and medication. 6. Contact the UK consulate. The UK consulate can provide assistance for UK citizens, but only if they know you are here. Make contact before and after the hurricane. 7. Make a list of emergency contact numbers. Yes, your mobile phone may store all the contact numbers you will need, but you can't guarantee your phone will have charge when you need to access them, and it may be impossible to charge it if the power is out in the affected areas. Make a hard copy of all the telephone numbers you'll need so you can make contact with friends and relatives somehow after the hurricane. 8. Get all your documents together before you need to evacuate. You may need to evacuate at a moment's notice. Get all your important documents, ID, passport, travel insurance certificate, driving license, etc. together in one place so you've everything essential to hand if you have to leave quickly. 9. Secure the building's openings against the hurricane. Tape board over or shutter any openings to the building doors and windows alike. Ensure that any sliding glass doors are wedged to make sure they don't lift up from their tracks. This will minimize the chances of injury from broken glass. 10. Take your worldwide travel insurance certificate along with you. Take your worldwide travel insurance certificate with you when you travel. You did get travel insurance, right? Not only will you need to produce the worldwide travel insurance certificate when making a claim, but if you require emergency treatment, the hospital will want a copy when you are first admitted. Otherwise, you may be stuck with a huge bill you cannot afford. Obviously, the chances of you being caught in an unexpected hurricane in the middle of your holiday are remote, but these tips can make a very real difference and could save your life and keep you free of injury should a natural disaster occur. Americans are ranked 41st in lifespans. In America, we take understandable pride in being number one. We are, after all, the richest people on earth. We've the largest military. We're still the only country to have put a man on the moon. Why then are we only the 41st? Yes, you read that right, longest living people on the planet. According to the latest report by the U.S. Census Bureau, an American baby born in 2004 can expect to live 77.9 years. That's over 4 years less than a Japanese baby, who can expect to live a full 82 years. Something's wrong here when one of the richest countries in the world, the one that spends the most on health care, is not able to keep up with other countries, said Dr. Christopher Murray, head of the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington, in an article reported by the Associated Press. Americans rank behind countries like France 80.4, Sweden 80.3 and Canada 80.0. In fact, we rank behind most of Europe and even one Middle Eastern country, Jordan. What's going on? Some of the difference, a tiny bit, is attributable to racial disparities in lifespans. White Americans actually live about 78.3 years according to the CDC, still about 4 years shorter than the Japanese or 6 years shorter than some Europeans, while African Americans can expect to live 73.3 years. Researchers explain the alarming gap in lifespans to a combination of inadequate health insurance, obesity, and lifestyle factors such as stress. Countries such as England, Canada, and France have national health coverage, which may explain some of the gap. People with health coverage are more likely to seek medical attention immediately when they need it rather than wait until the problem gets worse and their health deteriorates. This problem of non-existent health coverage plagues about 47 million of us. And the remaining 253 million of us with health insurance often encounter a health care system that seems more intent on denying us coverage than ensuring our access to health care. In fact, many life or death health decisions are no longer made solely by you and your doctor. Instead, these decisions are ultimately made by HMOs. If you are denied coverage by some person who may not even be a medical doctor in some cubicle at an HMO, you do have a right to appeal. If you survive long enough to win the appeal, then you may be able to finally get the coverage you've paid premiums to get. Of course, if you win your appeal, you better not get sick again. Most HMOs have many loopholes which give them the right to not renew your insurance contract in the next renewal period. That's not right or fair, but then again, it was probably not fair to deny you coverage in the first place. Of course, you can appeal the non-renewal to some court and spend the remainder of your shortened lives fighting HMOs, right? A lot of Americans caught up in this crazy maze have started heading for the exit sign. You may have heard about the new growing trend of medical vacations. BBC News, owned by the British Broadcasting Company, ran a report on September 14, 2007 about India's attempts to become a medical tourism destination. In the report, a woman from Oregon explained that she had traveled from Oregon to Mumbai, India for a hip replacement. The woman explained that her health insurance would have required her to pay 20% of the cost. Apparently, even after factoring in the cost of a plane ticket for a 5,000-mile trip and the costs for a hotel and food, it was still cheaper to have the operation in Mumbai than in Oregon. Which leaves lifestyle factors: stress, obesity. We Americans are, to put it impolitely, fat. The latest research reports put the number of overweight or obese Americans at 67%. That's 2 out of 3 of us. Americans under 30 may be the first generation which will die at an earlier age than their parents. As for stress, that factor is hard to pin down. We Americans work longer hours for many more years than any other people in the industrialized world. We take an average of less than a week of vacation per year. Europeans average total vacation time of 6 to 8 weeks. A recent survey by KFC reported that 62% of us believe that the 1-hour lunch is the biggest myth of working life. MSNBC reported that many of us take only a half hour for lunch and plenty of us eat at our desks. Job security has all but vanished for the current generation of us working. And because older Americans, our parents, are on average sicker than, say, Europeans and Japanese and Canadians for longer periods of their mature years, working Americans often find ourselves sandwiched between the need to care for aging parents and kids. So while it's hard to pin down exactly what kind of stress may be killing us off sooner than the rest of the industrialized world, we have plenty of candidate stressor which may be to blame. How do we close the gap? Much of it's beyond our fixing immediately. But surely we can work on the problem of obesity. Doctors say losing even a few pounds, especially around the middle, can add years of healthy living. 55 Division: a lesson in community policing in the beach. As always, Jean Domagala is the perfect person to make connections. With the date for my photo exhibition rapidly approaching and the need to finalize my articles and get the photos ready, I had not planned to do any further interviews, but Jean suggested that one organization could not be missing from my article series about the beach: Toronto Police Service 55 Division, an organization with whom all the special events organizers work regularly. In his words, 55 Division is extremely supportive of the beach and a very positive force in the community. Jean made a phone call to the station, and within minutes of the phone call I hopped in my car to drive to Dundas and Coxwell Avenues to meet the officers at 55 Division. Jean introduced me to Superintendent Wayne Pedden, the head of the station, and after introducing the Celebrate Toronto project, Superintendent Pedden started to give me a general overview of 55 Division. He explained that the policing area of 55 Division extends from the Don River in the west and to Victoria Park Avenue in the east, and from Danforth Avenue in the north to Lake Ontario in the south. Superintendent Pedden added that the police play a critical role in all the public events in the beach, including the beach's Jazz Festival, the Easter Parade, and the Ashbridges Bay fireworks. He used to work in this area in the 1980s and was just transferred back to this station last year. According to Superintendent Pedden, the beach is a very safe area, with the main concerns being traffic and parking. He described the beach as an excellent place to live and work. Many police officers want to work at this station, and Superintendent Pedden enjoys his new location. 55 Division has about 235 employees, including front-line officers, detectives, and investigative officers, as well as community response officers who work with the community to resolve issues. Examples could include barking dogs or driveway disputes or teenagers that might be up to mischief. The idea is to resolve issues before they become problems. During big events, 55 Division officers work with the organizing committees of the respective events to ensure that the festival or the parade are going to run smoothly with minimal inconvenience to the locals. During major events, for example, all the main streets north and south of Queen Street East have to be blocked off, and this is 55 Division's responsibility. Once the roads are closed, the organizers take over and handle things from there. Superintendent Pedden started to fill me in on some of the community issues that are going on in 55 Division, from volleyball programs for teenagers from at-risk communities to school safety and anti-bullying education programs. Officers from 55 Division are involved in a wide variety of community endeavors about which I would shortly learn more. The superintendent added that his station has a very good working relationship with the community and the politicians in the area. 55 Division strives to provide a strong visible presence and to be recognized as an integral part of the community. As he had to go, Superintendent Pedden handed me over to Sergeant John Spanton, who was going to explain things to me in more detail. He explained that there are several different units within 55 Division, a primary response unit PRU that involves first-line policing, emergency call response and apprehension of criminals. In addition, community problems and outreach is handled by the Community Response Unit CRU. Sergeant Spanton added that the division has one officer who is in charge of educational outreach in elementary schools. In addition, 2 full-time officers handle the liaison with local high schools. One of the important mandates of the Toronto Police Service is to encourage greater community integration. In addition, a concerted effort has been made to attract more visible minorities and women into the police force. Sergeant Spanton explained that today many of the officers that are being hired are quite a bit older than what used to be the case in the past. The recruiting process takes life experience into consideration, and Toronto's demographic diversity is increasingly being reflected in the faces of the Toronto Police Service. A wide variety of different ethnic and cultural groups are represented within Sergeant Spanton's own team of officers. More officers with different language skills are being hired as well to be able to communicate with the various immigrant groups that call Toronto their home. Another officer joined us. Regina Laborde is a 15-year veteran with the Toronto Police Force and now a full-time elementary school liaison officer. After many years of frontline policing, she has become a full-time educator and crime prevention officer for 55 Division. Her curriculum includes topics such as traffic safety rules and not talking to strangers, which are taught to children in junior and senior kindergarten. In grade 2, safety and street proofing continues. Topics such as what to do when you get lost and telling your parents at all times where you are and what you are doing get covered. The curriculum for grade 4 includes internet safety and cyberbullying. The concept of never talking to any strangers, even online, is emphasized as well. In grade 5, bullying becomes the key topic while drug awareness takes center stage in grade 6. Students learn about the different types of drugs, such as alcohol, marijuana, cocaine or ecstasy. They also get educated about the drug's biochemical effects as well as about the legal consequences that can happen if they get involved in drug use. In grade 8, the focus is on youth violence and gangs to prepare students for what they might be facing in high school. Materials such as videotapes and PowerPoint presentations are used to illustrate the concepts, and the entire curriculum is presently being updated to reflect current realities. For the entire article and photos, please visit http://www.travelandtransitions.com/interviews/police_55_division.htm. 55-gallon drum pumps. When you need to be able to measure out a very specific amount of a substance from a drum, you will always need to use some kind of pump for dispensing. The size, weight and sheer bulk of a standard 55-gallon drum means although pouring via a chute is possible when precision is not required, you are never able to pour smaller amounts. Under circumstances where you need to be able to dispense a fixed amount of liquid from a drum, having a reliable and accurate pump in place is a real boom and will help you make the most efficient use of resources by reducing overall wastage. There are a wide range of different 55-gallon drum pumps available, and these serve various different purposes, so choosing the correct model for your needs is essential if you are to get the most out of it. One of the first things to consider when choosing the 55-gallon drum pumps is what kind of liquid you need to dispense from the drums. For thin light liquids such as water and light oil, you can use a regular piston pump as very little force is required in order to get the liquid out. These lightweight pumps are simple to use and maintain, and thanks to their low cost, it is completely reasonable to get several at the same time to ensure that you can extract liquid from drums as efficiently as possible. When a heavier gauge of liquid is being stored in the drum, a standard piston pump will not have the power to draw up the fluid without a great deal of effort from the operator, and a more powerful system is required. Some companies offer a number of 55-gallon drum pumps that feature a lever attached to the top of the standard piston. This, coupled with a larger chamber in the piston, makes it much easier to pump liquid out of the drum and into an appropriate receptacle to be used elsewhere in the building or site. The drawback with both kinds of piston-based pump is that they are both limited to producing a relatively uneven flow of liquid, and this can lead to spillages and accidents. When the liquid is pumped out using a piston, the pressure varies immensely, and this results in pulsing. If the receptacle that the liquid is being pumped into is not placed in a suitable position, the liquid might miss and end up on the floor. An alternative to a piston pump is a rotary pump. With these 55-gallon drum pumps, you will be able to get a steady flow of liquid out of the drum and even deal with the heavier gauges of oil and even paint. The liquid will be drawn up steadily from the drum and dispensed at an even rate into a bucket or other small storage container. One of the main times when you gain a huge advantage by using a rotary pump is when you are dealing with volatile chemicals or solvents. These must not be spilled because of health and safety concerns, so minimizing the risk is essential. One area in which you will find that 55-gallon drum pumps are able to really save you money in the long run is in how they are able to extract all the contents of the barrel. With a hose that stretches all the way to the bottom, you can be sure of getting every last drop of liquid out, meaning that you reduce wastage and in turn cut costs over the long term, which is excellent news for business. Americans are ranked 41st in lifespans. In America, we take understandable pride in being number one. We're after all the richest people on earth. We have the largest military. We're still the only country to have put a man on the moon. Why then are we only the 41st? Yes, you read that right, longest living people on the planet. According to the latest report by the U.S. Census Bureau, an American baby born in 2004 can expect to live 77.9 years. That's over 4 years less than a Japanese baby who can expect to live a full 82 years. Something's wrong here when one of the richest countries in the world, the one that spends the most on health care, is not able to keep up with other countries, said Dr. Christopher Murray, head of the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington, in an article reported by the Associated Press. Americans rank behind countries like France 80.4, Sweden 80.3, and Canada 80.0. In fact, we rank behind most of Europe and even one Middle Eastern country, Jordan. What's going on? Some of the difference, a tiny bit, is attributable to racial disparities in lifespans. White Americans actually live about 78.3 years according to the CDC, still about 4 years shorter than the Japanese or 6 years shorter than some Europeans, while African Americans can expect to live 73.3 years. Researchers explain the alarming gap in lifespans to a combination of inadequate health insurance, obesity, and lifestyle factors such as stress. Countries such as England, Canada, and France have national health coverage, which may explain some of the gap. People with health coverage are more likely to seek medical attention immediately when they need it rather than wait until the problem gets worse and their health deteriorates. This problem of non-existent health coverage plagues about 47 million of us. And the remaining 253 million of us with health insurance often encounter a health care system that seems more intent on denying us coverage than ensuring our access to health care. In fact, many life or death health decisions are no longer made solely by you and your doctor. Instead, these decisions are ultimately made by HMOs. If you are denied coverage by some person who may not even be a medical doctor in some cubicle at an HMO, you do have a right to appeal. If you survive long enough to win the appeal, then you may be able to finally get the coverage you have paid premiums to get. Of course, if you win your appeal, you better not get sick again. Most HMOs have many loopholes which give them the right to not renew your insurance contract in the next renewal period. That's not right or fair, but then again, it was probably not fair to deny you coverage in the first place. Of course, you can appeal the non-renewal to some court and spend the remainder of your shortened lives fighting HMOs, right? A lot of Americans caught up in this crazy maze have started heading for the exit sign. You may have heard about the new growing trend of medical vacations. BBC News, owned by the British Broadcasting Company, ran a report on September 14, 2007 about India's attempts to become a medical tourism destination. In the report, a woman from Oregon explained that she had traveled from Oregon to Mumbai, India for a hip replacement. The woman explained that her health insurance would have required her to pay 20% of the cost. Apparently, even after factoring in the cost of a plane ticket for a 5,000-mile trip and the costs for a hotel and food, it was still cheaper to have the operation in Mumbai than in Oregon. Which leaves lifestyle factors stress obesity. We Americans are, to put it impolitely, fat. The latest research reports put the number of overweight or obese Americans at 67%. That's 2 out of 3 of us. Americans under 30 may be the first generation which will die at an earlier age than their parents. As for stress, that factor is hard to pin down. We Americans work longer hours for many more years than any other people in the industrialized world. We take an average of less than a week of vacation per year. Europeans average total vacation time of 6 to 8 weeks. A recent survey by KFC reported that 62% of us believe that the 1-hour lunch is the biggest myth of working life. MSNBC reported that many of us take only a half-hour for lunch and plenty of us eat at our desks. Job security has all but vanished for the current generation of us working. And because older Americans, our parents, are on average sicker than, say, Europeans and Japanese and Canadians for longer periods of their mature years, working Americans often find ourselves sandwiched between the need to care for aging parents and kids. So while it's hard to pin down exactly what kind of stress may be killing us off sooner than the rest of the industrialized world, we've plenty of candidate stressor which may be to blame. How do we close the gap? Much of it's beyond our fixing immediately. But surely we can work on the problem of obesity. Doctors say losing even a few pounds, especially around the middle, can add years of healthy living. Alchemical and later discoveries and uses of alum mineral. Discovered an alchemical and posterior uses the presence of potassium. The sulfuric alum acid was known to the alchemists. J. H. Pott and A. S. Margraf showed that alumina was another constituent. Pott in its lithogeognosia proved that the precipitate obtained when an alkali is versed in an alum solution is completely different from lime and chalk, with which it had been confused by G. E. Stahl. Margraf proved that alumina is one of the components of alum, but that this ground has the particular properties and is one of the clay commune run ingredients. It also proved that crystals of alum cannot be obtained by dissolving alumina in sulfuric acid and evaporating the solutions, but when an ammonia or potash solution is released in this liquid, it immediately deposits the perfect crystals of alum. Torbern Bergman also observed that the addition of potash or made ammonia the solution of alumina in sulfuric acid crystallizes, but that the same effect was not produced by the addition of soda or lime, and that potassium sulfate is frequently found out of alum. Short-term uses in industry. The alum was imported in England mainly of the Middle East, and as from late the 15th century the Papal States for thousands and hundreds of years. Its use there was as a dye fixer, corrosive for the wool, which was one of primary industries of England, the value of which appreciably increased if dyed. These sources were dubious, however, and there was a push to develop a source in England. With the financing of state, attempts were made throughout the 16th century, but without success until as of the Access Inside at the 17th century. An industry was founded in Yorkshire to treat the schist, which contained the principal ingredient, sulfates aluminium, and contributed an important share to the Industrial Revolution. The alum, known under the name of turti in local Indian languages, was also employed for the treatment water by Indians for thousands and hundreds of years. After M. H. Klaproth discovered the presence of potassium in leucite and lepidolite, it occurred with L. N. Vorkelen that it was probably an of the same ingredient in much of other ores. Knowing that the alum cannot be obtained out of crystals without addition of potash, it started with suspected that this alkali constituted an essential ingredient in salt, and in 1797 it published an essay showing that the alum is a double salt, composed of sulfuric acid, alumina and potash. A little later J. H. Aptal published the analysis of 4 kinds different of alum, namely, Roman alum, alum of raising, British alum and alum built all alone. This analysis led to the same result as Vorkelen. American wedding practices. Living in the US makes one feel free, free to do anything, free to live, free to love, free from traditions. While this is true, there are still many practices done during wedding that renders this memorable event with a distinct American touch. Here are some. Starting from the engagement, Americans can think of unique ways to personalize their wedding. As there really isn't any engagement tradition, the more unique the marriage proposal is done, the better. For most wedding preparations, the engaged couple visits their parents to inform them of their recent engagement. At times, the engaged couple hosts an engagement party. The engagement party costs less than a wedding reception since most of the time the menu will only include cocktails and hors d'oeuvre. Therefore, if the couple is on a tight budget, they can just invite more guests to the engagement party if they plan to limit the number of guests during the wedding. Most wedding preparations have a bridal shower given by the maid of honor and the bridesmaids. The groom may also have a bachelor party the night before the wedding, but he has to be careful not to drink too much. Wedding invitations should include response cards to quickly inform the couple whether the person has accepted or declined the invitation. The wedding invitations should also be sent within 4 to 6 weeks before the event. Usually, there is a rehearsal dinner in which the wedding party and guests came from far places to be present at the wedding attend. It was practiced that the groom's parents pay for this dinner. A bridal luncheon may be hosted for the bride's attendants during the wedding day. However, time constraints may not permit this to be part of the schedule for the wedding day. Likewise, the groom may also host a groom's dinner for his groomsmen. Interestingly, even if the couple is not very religious, they still prefer a religious ceremony. However, this may pose a problem since in America people of different faiths and religious backgrounds get married. Even if there are few people who believe in bad luck, some couples still make sure that the groom does not see his bride until she starts walking on the aisle. It's still practiced that the groom and his groomsmen enter the church through a side door. The bride will then walk down the aisle with her father. In some cases, when both her father and stepfather brought up the bride, she may ask them both to escort her. During a formal reception, there is usually a bridal table where the couple and the attendants sit. Also, food and drinks should be served as the guests appear at the reception. Before gift giving used to depend on what the guest will feel useful for the couple. Now it's better to register for gifts so the guests will know what to bring that the couple will need. Upon receiving an engagement or wedding gift, it's better to send a thank you note apart from saying thank you to the giver. This should be sent within 2 weeks upon receipt of the gift. Make a personalized thank you note instead of using an impersonal generic thank you note. These are just some American practices during weddings. Whether one chooses to this or prefers to have a very different wedding, what's more important is that Americans still believe in the wedding vow for better or worse, till death do us part. Asian wedding traditions. Incorporating ethnic traditions into your wedding can create a more intimate environment for you and your family. While we most associate the color white with wedding in this country, the color red is the color of weddings in China. Red is the color of luck and joy, and it makes perfect sense that it's such an important color for weddings. You can incorporate the red color in a variety of ways, such as the tablecloth, candles, napkins, and other decorations. You may change into a red dress during the wedding reception. You may choose red wedding flowers, or your bridesmaids may wear a red dress. You can create a Chinese feel without red by dressing in a traditional Chinese dress. White is not a color used in Chinese traditional weddings. White is used at funerals, so avoid white on your invitations, decorations, or bridal clothing. Don't use red ink on white paper, because white implies death and is used at funerals. Gold on reddish paper or cream color paper works well. Chinese couples honor their ancestors with a tea ceremony. It's not only a beautiful ceremony, but it could be very educational and entertaining for your guests. Another Asian tradition from India is having the bride's and groom's hands and feet painted with henna. The tradition is normally performed by a henna professional. The hand and foot henna stains the skin for up to a few weeks. Japanese weddings include a sake ritual. It's also known as the sake sharing tradition. This ritual represents building a strong bond between the families. The sake ritual can be part of the wedding ceremony or the wedding reception. Sake cups can make great wedding favors for a Japanese wedding ceremony. There's no law that you've to have an ethnic wedding, but it may add sentiment to your big day. Chinese zodiac system, some interesting details. Before switching to the regular solar calendar of the Western origin, the Chinese used to follow their own calendar, which was based on lunar cycles. So Chinese astrology is based on the conventional lunar calendar, which has 12 cycles of the moon. There are 12 different animals in Chinese zodiac. Each zodiac period consists of full moon cycle from new moon to full moon. Therefore 12 full lunar cycles are there in a Chinese zodiac year. However, one animal stands for a whole year. So, a Chinese cycle goes round for 12 years before starting all over again. Unlike in Western system, where your zodiac comes around every year, in the Chinese system you can celebrate your zodiac birthday only once in 12 years. There are several legends associated with the creation of the Chinese calendar. One of them has it that the gods wanted to test which of the animals could reach their position the fastest. So they asked all of them to compete by swimming through a river. The order of their reaching is reflected in the Chinese zodiac. According to another legend, before leaving Earth, Lord Buddha asked the animals to visit him. And when they went to meet him, he named the moon cycles according to the order of appearance of the animals. This makes the Chinese zodiac a circle with 12 equal parts, much like a pie sliced into 12 parts. There are specific characteristics associated with every zodiac animal in the Chinese system. The animals are ox, rabbit, tiger, rat, snake, sheep, horse, monkey, rooster, boar, dog and dragon. So if you fall under rat, you are supposed to be aggressive, charming, perfectionist and a little secretive. You are also party-loving and somewhat stubborn. Those who belong to the rat zodiac may also be somewhat mean at times. Therefore each zodiac represents a complete personality with both positive and negative traits. Chinese zodiac system is much different from the solar-based Western zodiac system we are also familiar with. However, many a time the traits you are supposed to have under Western system are much the same as those under the Chinese system. That's quite amazing. This, however, may not happen in all cases. A traditional Swahili wedding harusi, here comes the bride. As darkness sets on the island of Zanzibar, excited shouts, music and the ululating of women fills the air. Dressed in their most colorful and stylish outfits, donned with heavy gold bracelets and chains, their hands and feet decorated with flower patterns made from traditional henna, the women anxiously await the arrival of the star of the evening, the bride. As the live band in the expansive hall draws the crowd to a climax, the bride makes her grand entry. She enters amidst shouts of "Bibi Harasi, the bride has come." As the women let out their high-pitched sounds of joy. Her mother, friends, sisters and aunties follow in her footsteps, dancing and singing, literally escorting her in. Her sight catches the breath of many. It's the most important appearance this young woman will ever make in her life. She has now officially entered womanhood. She is a married woman, a changed person, and the results of days, sometimes weeks of beauty treatment culminate in her moment of entry. She majestically struts in, all bright and shiny, showing off her glittering gown, her astonishing hairdo and makeup, and the intricate henna patterns on her arms and legs. The grand entry of the bride represents the climax of a Swahili traditional wedding. Such weddings are held among the entire Swahili population of Eastern Africa, including the islands of Zanzibar and Pemba and the Tanzanian and Kenyan coasts. Swahili weddings incorporate a deeply rooted culture and religion which can be traced back to the Arabic roots of the Swahili population. Although a Swahili wedding can differ according to local tradition and the depth of a family's wallet, the basics remain the same. If a young man and woman want to get married first, a dowry payment has to be made. This involves elaborate negotiations between both families. The dowry, usually a sum of money or gold or furniture for the newlyweds' house, is given to the girl. Secondly, the girl has to consent to the marriage. On the wedding day, before the actual wedding vows are taken, she is asked 3 times if she has consented to this marriage. If she says no at any one time, the wedding is immediately called off. If she agrees, the vows are then taken with witnesses present, one of which has to be her father or a representative of her father. For those who are not able to afford elaborate wedding celebrations, a simple ceremony incorporating these things makes for a valid marriage. Swahili culture, however, deems marriage one of the most important events in a person's life, and it's therefore expected that a wedding be celebrated in style. When wedding negotiations are over, a wedding date is set and preparations can start. 2 weeks before the wedding day, the bride receives a sanduku, the Swahili word for suitcase. It's literally a sizable suitcase filled with every imaginary item the girl could need for her personal use in her first year of marriage. It includes clothes, shoes, underwear, makeup, toiletries, materials for making dresses, bed sheets, perfume and even toothbrushes and toothpaste. A week before the wedding, the girl is taken to a secluded place where she can prepare herself, receive all kinds of beauty treatments, and can ask her female relatives, especially her godmother, all the questions she has about the life she's about to enter. For a young Swahili woman, her wedding day symbolizes the transition to womanhood. In her culture, this comes with responsibilities such as a husband and later on a family, but also with rights. She has come of age. She can now wear makeup, gold, beautiful dresses, do her hair, attend weddings, something unmarried girls are not allowed to do, and generally be a woman in her own right. One of the most noticeable differences between a traditional Swahili wedding and its Western style equivalent is that the bride and groom are not together when the wedding vows are taken, and they're even separated during much of the festivities. This is based on the religion of the Swahili people, Islam, which doesn't allow men and women to celebrate such an occasion together. Reason being that the women would not be able to celebrate freely, that is, removing their headscarves, dance their sensuous traditional dances, and be generally free when men are watching. During the official ceremony or nikah, the groom is normally in a mosque, his wife to be is in the same area but not in the same room if space allows, for instance if the mosque compound harbors another building or secluded area where the bride can sit. It does happen that the bride is not anywhere near the groom when they say their vows. She could be at her parents' home or any other place that is deemed fit. When the wedding vows are taken, it's time for the bride to come out in her moment of glory. She makes her entry in front of the female wedding guests and takes her place on a stage in front of the crowd so that she can be admired and people can take pictures with her. A while later, the groom joins her, and after elaborate congratulations and picture opportunities, they leave together as man and wife, leaving their guests to celebrate and eat sumptuous amounts of food. When attending a Swahili wedding, it's quite obvious that the women are in charge here. The air in the hall where the festivities are taking place is heavy with the perfume of all the women present, their outfits a feast of color, their gold dangling in abundance. A wedding celebration is a Swahili woman's party time. It's her chance to get dressed up, show her latest fashion outfits, wear her gold and dance until morning, a chance to get away, if only for a while, from the chores of daily life. There are usually several other functions following the official ceremony and the showing of the bride. A smaller party with close relatives can follow, or a religious celebration where prayers are recited to bless the couple. Sometimes a mock fight is staged if the party is at the girl's parents' house. The husband has to break down the door to get his wife, and usually, he has to bribe the male relatives of the bride to let him in. With the official wedding day over, the celebrations can go on for several more days. The husband then takes his new wife to all his relatives to introduce her. In Swahili tradition, a bride becomes part of the husband's family after marriage. She remains a bride until she gives birth to her first child. Her bridal days are then officially over. But by then she will have probably gone for countless other weddings to enjoy the party. Caribbean weddings elope to paradise. Nowhere on earth is as beautiful and breathtaking as the Caribbean islands. Without a doubt, it's a place you absolutely must see in your lifetime. So much so that if you have a wedding in your future, you should consider having a Caribbean wedding and merging these two magnificent memories into one. Caribbean weddings are among the most exotic, memorable events anyone could hope for. The sky is the limit with Caribbean weddings. No matter what you want your special day to include, it's available on this island paradise. You can go with a traditional church wedding or a ceremony on the beach at sunset, whatever makes your heart skip a beat. For a traditional ceremonial wedding, the best of both worlds is available. Imagine saying I do in a large cathedral church and being whisked away to your tropical getaway right next door. You cannot beat that for convenience and excitement. You'll also have the best photographs and videos to share your wedding memories for years to come. On the other hand, you can really embrace the culture of the islands and have a more festive wedding in the white sands of the beach. If you're adventurous at heart, you could top the ceremony off with rock climbing or skydiving. It's all available with Caribbean weddings. Of course, there is a lot to be said for lying on the beach with an umbrella in your drink. The other great thing about Caribbean weddings is that the islands are so close you can almost touch them. You'll not be on a plane for half a lifetime, just a few short hours and you are there, basking in the sun. Not that anyone wants a short trip to the Caribbean, but if you've to return quickly, this is the best option. You've to really enjoy yourself that allows for a short trip if necessary. However, if you've time to spare, there is plenty left to fill your days on the islands. For a really spectacular time, consider planning your Caribbean wedding around a cruise. You can visit the many islands of the Caribbean while you enjoy the luxury and pampering of a full-service cruise. Even more, you can combine a trip to the Caribbean with a quick stop in Mexico. Shopping and sightseeing in Mexico would only add to the charm and exuberance of the trip. Cheap Las Vegas weddings. Imagine the cheapest wedding you'd like. You've to pay the $55 fee for the marriage license and you've to pay someone to perform the service. Then there's the witness who must be present at the ceremony. And you have to perform the service somewhere, although it doesn't have to be lavish. There are many places in and around Las Vegas that will perform the service and provide the witness for as little as $40. And they'll even throw in a CD in the background featuring traditional wedding music. You get there on your own, present your paid license, and in a few short moments you'll be in front of a person licensed to perform wedding services in Las Vegas that are recognized around the world. Go for another $60 and they'll throw in a limousine ride back to your hotel, a few photos taken with a disposable film camera that you'll get developed on your own, a bouquet of flowers and a boutonniere for the groom. It really doesn't get any cheaper than that, and you'll have more than just your memory of the event to take home and share with friends and family. Getting married on the cheap in any other city but Las Vegas would be, well, tacky. But cheap Las Vegas weddings have been turned into an art form unequaled in any other city in the world. Anybody can spend a lot of money, but doing a fun wedding and reception on the cheap shows real talent. Creating family traditions on your wedding day. Do you remember what it was like to be a little girl and dream of your wedding day? How many of you pictured yourself in your mother's dress or wearing your grandmother's necklace from her wedding day? Heirlooms can be anything from a bracelet to a handkerchief. But there is something to be said about that warm and fuzzy feeling that you get when you're able to participate in a tradition that has so much meaning to your family. And heirloom doesn't have to mean old, memories are always in the making, so why not start with you? Quality is the first thing that you need to look for in an item that could potentially be an heirloom. Without quality construction, no item will last long enough to be in the family for generations to come. Timelessness is another aspect to consider. When choosing items that you'd like to pass down to your children and grandchildren, try to avoid fads and trends. Chances are, it will be a few generations before they will come back into style again. A very easy way to start a tradition that will stay in the family is with jewelry. Do you know a woman who doesn't own a piece of jewelry with a story behind it? A good story is the start of a lasting heirloom. It's a perfect place to begin. Just imagine yourself in 10 years, sitting on your couch with your daughter while you're flipping through the photo album from your wedding day. And in all of the photos you are wearing a Swarovski 3-point necklace. It sparkles beautifully, and is the finishing touch that really makes you a princess for a day. Now imagine yourself in 30 years, standing with your daughter on her special day. Both of you are absolutely overwhelmed with anticipation for the events to come and cherishing every moment. You've tied each bow and buttoned each tiny button on her beautiful dress. She is almost ready to go down the aisle when you present her with the necklace that you wore on your big day, and also with the Swarovski crystal comb that you adorned in your hair. And now, she is ready. You can make these moments happen starting today and lasting for a lifetime, not only for you but the people that you love the most. 10 exciting bridal shower game ideas. Have you ever wondered if what you know about bridal shower game is accurate? Consider the following paragraphs and compare what you know to the latest info on bridal shower game. The bridal shower is an opportunity for the women in the future bride's life to honor her with a simple luncheon or get-together filled with good food, fun and games. Many bridal showers feature a series of games that are not only a great deal of fun but also allow a bonding opportunity for all of the women at the party, and sometimes serve the purpose of completing a task for the bride-to-be. A game that encourages the participants to get to know each other is always a fun game with which to start the party. One game you can play is known as the name tag game, which encourages guests to mingle with the other guests. In this game, the hostess writes the name of each of the guests along with a word related to weddings such as veil, favors, groom, etc. on a name tag. The rules of the game are that you are not allowed to say the word on your name tag, or else you lose your name tag to the person who got you to say the word. If you acquire one or more additional name tags, you are tasked with not saying any of the words on either your name tag or any of the other tags. If you say the word on your tag, you've to relinquish it to the person who got you to say the word, and if you say the word on one of the other tags, you also have to give that person the tag, plus you've to introduce them to the person from whom you had acquired the tag. There is usually a predetermined time limit for this game, and the person with the most tags when time runs out is the winner. The purse game is another popular bridal shower idea. This is a simple game where the hostess draws up a list of items likely to appear in a woman's purse and assigns a point value to each item ranging from 1 to 5 depending on how unusual the item is. For example, car keys might be a 1 on the scale, a mirror a 3 and an eyelash curler a 5. The hostess might also choose to allow 10 bonus points for the woman who can produce the most outrageous item from her purse. The woman with the most points wins the game. Another variation of this game is to have a list of items and call out the items one at a time. The first woman to find each item and hand it to the person judging the game wins 1 point. After the entire list has been completed, the woman with the most points is proclaimed the winner. Another common bridal shower game is the television couple game. In this game, the hostess will read out the first names of a television couple and the guests try to guess the last name of the couple. A few examples clues along with the answers are George and Jane Jetson, Alan Peg Bundy, Ward and June Cleaver. 1 point could be awarded for each correct answer, or a point system could be established to award more points to more obscure references. This game is also sometimes called the famous couple game and includes references to celebrities or political figures and their real spouses such as Bill and Hillary Clinton. Bridal shower bingo is another simple bridal shower game. This game is played just like regular bingo, except that instead of using letters and numbers for the spaces, each space is filled with a word or words that relate to weddings, love or marriage, such as wedding dress, favors, eternal, true, rings, etc. The host makes up the bingo cards ahead of time and puts a piece of paper with each word used on the cards into a large bowl. During the game, the hostess will draw out a word and read it aloud, and each participant will mark that square on their card. The first person to complete an entire row, column or diagonal wins the game. One bridal shower game that can be a real benefit to the bride-to-be is a simple drawing. The hostess may purchase a few inexpensive gifts for the drawing and ask each participant to fill out an envelope with their name and address to enter the drawing. The hostess then picks out a name for each prize. This is a fun game because it offers the participants a chance to win a prize, plus it really helps out the guest of honor because she can use the envelopes to send out her thank you cards after the party. You can see that there's practical value in learning more about bridal shower game. Can you think of ways to apply what's been covered so far? The Who Am I game is another bridal shower game that encourages guests to interact with each other. In this game, the host prints out pictures of characters from romantic books or movies and tapes one character to the back of each guest so that other guests can see the picture but the person wearing the picture cannot. The point of the game is to ask other guests questions where the answer is either yes or no to try to determine who is on the picture on your back. At the end of the party, each guest takes a guess at who is depicted in the photo on their back. The wedding jumble is another fun bridal shower game. For this game, the hostess will prepare a list of words related to a wedding day such as toast, limousine, receptions and vows. Next, the hostess will scramble each word so that the letters are out of order and provide each guest with a copy of the scrambled words. The guest will be given a set amount of time to unscramble the words, and the person who unscrambles the most words wins. If more than one person gets all of the words correct, then the person who did so in the fastest time is the winner. The wedding day obstacle course is another game that can really help out the bride. In this amusing game, each guest is timed individually on how fast they can complete a series of tasks such as wrapping a wedding favor, addressing envelopes, filling out a place card, assembling a centerpiece, or whatever other projects the bride has in progress that can be incorporated into the game. Not only is this a game that's both fun to watch and participate in, but it also helps the bride to complete some of the tasks on her list. The bridal shower memory game is also very popular. The typical way to play this game is to have a tray filled with various household items. Bring out the tray and allow the guests to study the items for a few minutes, and then take the tray away and ask questions about the items such as where the spoon was and what color was the spatula. This game could also be modified to have one of the guests bring the tray out and then leave the room to take the tray away. You could then catch the guests by surprise by asking questions about the person who carried the tray, such as what color shirt were they wearing or on which finger was she wearing a ring, instead of asking questions about the contents of the tray. The Price is Right game can also be a great deal of fun at bridal showers and can serve to benefit the bride as well. For this game, the hostess will purchase about 10 different items that will be useful for the couple, such as towels, soap dispensers, household cleaners, etc., and have the guests try to guess the price of either all the items combined or each item individually. This is not only a fun game, but the bride also gets to keep the items, which makes it useful for her. All of these games are a lot of fun to play at a bridal shower, and they encourage the guests to get to know each other in a casual atmosphere. Some of these games even serve the purpose of helping to complete some of the bride's last-minute projects. The fun of these games is that they help people to get to know each other better, which is helpful especially if the bride and groom's families don't know each other well. You can't predict when knowing something extra about bridal shower game will come in handy. If you learned anything new about keyword in this article, you should file the article where you can find it again. Bridal shower countdown. The most important first lesson about having the best possible bridal shower is careful party planning. If your bridal shower is carefully planned, it will be not only more organized but a world of fun. Paying attention to details is what makes a great bridal shower. If you treat your bridal shower just like any other project, you've a good chance of making it a success. Proper planning is the most important first step to take toward a great bridal shower. The following list can serve as a simple outline for your overall bridal shower planning. Follow the outline to help plan the bridal shower. Be sure to check or underline each completed task so you can concentrate on the incomplete items. It's also helpful to use actual dates to meet your deadlines. First steps. The most important first step is to select the appropriate date and time. Be sure to check with the most important participants and make sure the date works for everyone. Set your budget. Select the place. A favorite restaurant is a great location, but a friend's house works on a limited budget. Prepare your guest list. 5 to 6 weeks prior the bridal shower. Select method of invitations. You can save money by sending e-invitations. Make a decision about the shower theme. 1 month prior to the bridal shower date. Send out the shower invitations. Decide on food. Select caterer or restaurant if you wish to use one. Research bridal shower keepsake favors. 2 weeks before the bridal shower. Based on RSVPs from the invited bridal shower guests, make final arrangements regarding food and other planned activities. Last-minute preparations. Contact caterer or restaurant if you use one to make sure they are ready for the shower party. Put together any accessories you plan to use for the bridal shower. Wrap gifts. Make sure a video recorder and cameras are available to record the bridal shower. For this game, the hostess will purchase about 10 different items that will be useful for the couple, such as towels, soap dispensers, household cleaners, etc., and have the guests try to guess the price of either all the items combined or each item individually. This is not only a fun game, but the bride also gets to keep the items, which makes it useful for her. All of these games are a lot of fun to play at a bridal shower, and they encourage the guests to get to know each other in a casual atmosphere. Some of these games even serve the purpose of helping to complete some of the bride's last-minute projects. The fun of these games is that they help people to get to know each other better, which is helpful especially if the bride and groom's families don't know each other well. You can't predict when knowing something extra about bridal shower game will come in handy. If you learned anything new about keyword in this article, you should file the article where you can find it again. Bridal shower countdown. The most important first lesson about having the best possible bridal shower is careful party planning. If your bridal shower is carefully planned, it will be not only more organized but a world of fun. Paying attention to details is what makes a great bridal shower. If you treat your bridal shower just like any other project, you've a good chance of making it a success. Proper planning is the most important first step to take toward a great bridal shower. The following list can serve as a simple outline for your overall bridal shower planning. Follow the outline to help plan the bridal shower. Be sure to check or underline each completed task so you can concentrate on the incomplete items. It's also helpful to use actual dates to meet your deadlines. First steps. The most important first step is to select the appropriate date and time. Be sure to check with the most important participants and make sure the date works for everyone. Set your budget, select the place. A favorite restaurant is a great location, but a friend's house works on a limited budget. Prepare your guest list. 5 to 6 weeks prior the bridal shower. Select method of invitations. You can save money by sending e-invitations. Make a decision about the shower theme. 1 month prior to the bridal shower date. Send out the shower invitations. Decide on food. Select caterer or restaurant if you wish to use one. Research bridal shower keepsake favors. 2 weeks before the bridal shower. Based on RSVPs from the invited bridal shower guests, make final arrangements regarding food and other planned activities. For this game, the hostess will purchase about 10 different items that will be useful for the couple, such as towels, soap dispensers, household cleaners, etc., and have the guests try to guess the price of either all the items combined or each item individually. This is not only a fun game, but the bride also gets to keep the items, which makes it useful for her. All of these games are a lot of fun to play at a bridal shower, and they encourage the guests to get to know each other in a casual atmosphere. Some of these games even serve the purpose of helping to complete some of the bride's last-minute projects. The fun of these games is that they help people to get to know each other better, which is helpful especially if the bride and groom's families don't know each other well. You can't predict when knowing something extra about bridal shower game will come in handy. If you learned anything new about keyword in this article, you should file the article where you can find it again. Bridal shower countdown. The most important first lesson about having the best possible bridal shower is careful party planning. If your bridal shower is carefully planned, it will be not only more organized but a world of fun. Paying attention to details is what makes a great bridal shower. If you treat your bridal shower just like any other project, you've a good chance of making it a success. Proper planning is the most important first step to take toward a great bridal shower. The following list can serve as a simple outline for your overall bridal shower planning. Follow the outline to help plan the bridal shower. Be sure to check or underline each completed task so you can concentrate on the incomplete items. It's also helpful to use actual dates to meet your deadlines. First steps. The most important first step is to select the appropriate date and time. Be sure to check with the most important participants and make sure the date works for everyone. Set your budget, select the place. A favorite restaurant is a great location, but a friend's house works on a limited budget. Prepare your guest list. 5 to 6 weeks prior the bridal shower. Select method of invitations. You can save money by sending e-invitations. Make a decision about the shower theme. 1 month prior to the bridal shower date. Send out the shower invitations. Decide on food. Select caterer or restaurant if you wish to use one. Research bridal shower keepsake favors. 2 weeks before the bridal shower. Based on RSVPs from the invited bridal shower guests, make final arrangements regarding food and other planned activities. Last-minute preparations. Contact caterer or restaurant if you use one to make sure they are ready for the shower party. Put together any accessories you plan to use for the bridal shower. Wrap gifts. Make sure a video recorder and cameras are available to record the bridal shower. Bridal bouquets. Here's 5 alternatives. Bridal bouquets are the most popular accessories for brides to walk down the aisle. But what if you want to be a bit different? Here are 5 alternative ideas that will work for both brides and bridesmaids. 1. Wrist corsage. This is a small arrangement of flowers that's secured to the wrist. Roses, orchids and other small-headed flowers work best. The great thing about a wrist corsage is that both of your hands are free, ideal if you are going to be hugging lots of guests. Bianca Jagger looked very chic having chosen a wrist corsage instead of a bouquet when she married Mick Jagger too. Pomander. A pomander, also called a kissing ball, is a round ball shape of flowers that has a delicate ribbon handle. This is easy to carry as the ribbon just slips over the wrist. Roses are the most popular choice for pomanders, but you could also use gerbera or carnations. Pomanders are often carried by bridesmaids and flower girls but can look spectacular for the bride herself. 3. Hair decoration. Hair decorations can be both elegant and stylish. You can choose 2 large flowers such as a lily to form each as the focal point of your arrangement. This type of arrangement is worn on the side of the head. Alternatively, you could go for a circular halo arrangement, such as Audrey Hepburn wore at her wedding. She had a halo arrangement of white roses that was worn on top of the head. In addition to flowers, you can incorporate beads, jewels, and feathers into your hair decoration. Have a quick chat with your florist and you could come up with a unique design that suits your personality and complements your bridegroom's boutonniere. 4. Prayer book. Another choice instead of holding a bridal bouquet is to hold a prayer book or Bible. Some brides like to decorate the prayer book with a small arrangement of flowers and/or ribbons. You could use a cherished Bible that was given to you as gift, or you could buy a new one as a symbol of your new life and how you plan to lead it. 5. Lantern or candle holder. These are great for church weddings, especially if it's an evening ceremony. Candles are very romantic and will add to the ceremony. Use non-drip candles and a lantern design that fully encloses the naked flame to reduce the risk of an accident. The base of the lantern or candle holder can be decorated with a small arrangement of flowers to match the colors of your wedding theme. Don't leave before you press like button below and subscribe to this channel. As a subscriber, you will receive a new notifications every time a new video is uploaded. Good luck.